Welcome to Pursuing Joy, where we discuss audacious stories of joy-infused strength. I have Christine here, and I have been able to receive the fruits of her labor as I have begun my entrepreneurship, and she is beginning hers as well. So, Christine, I want you to introduce yourself and explain what you do succinctly, or as long as however you want to describe it to the novice out here who needs all the information to
Right. Well, that's what post-production is for, right? You can't do it succinctly.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. So yes, and overall, Christine is going to be educating me, and then it will hopefully help others understand what they need in order to automate and create a great business for themselves and for others. So welcome. Long introduction.
Thank you. Yeah, so I have 20 years experience in corporate IT, 26 years in graphic and web design. And what I love to do is to show entrepreneurs, especially, how we can combine technology to their business processes and really improve the way that they can show up and create an impact in the world. So a lot of times people are, you have those people that are intimidated or scared of technology, and it keeps them from reaching those goals and really boosting their business and using it to its full advantage. And so I like to come in kind of like with a magic wand and make it all make sense. And it's something that I really enjoy doing. It lights me up and energizes me to provide tech solutions, especially in terms of automation and systems on the back end. Because a lot of times people see, the pretty website and they don't know what it takes to make it run in the background or have the business automated in the background so that they have more time to show up in the parts that light them up in their business, and also to show up for the other things in life that are not the business.
Right. Okay. And so I know, and too, because this is an entrepreneur journey for you as well. But we have a budget, and it's the things that, and if I bring working genius into this, the things that do not bring me energy, do not bring me joy, are a time suck for me, and overall are hugely frustrated and don't make a whole lot of sense to me. And so those are the things that I want to outsource and know that it is getting done really well. And really it's the fruit of that. It's that product at the end, or the service at the end, that's going to speak to someone like me, because I truly have very little understanding. Like, even when you say back end, that what does that encompass? Like, if you are, what does that word mean to you?
So when you get ready to start your day as a business owner, right? You get on your computer. Most of us get on a computer too, right? If you're not getting on a computer, I'm probably not serving you.
Okay.
Illustrate this hypothetical situation. You get to your computer and you have certain things you need to do with technology. And so I talked to an entrepreneur the other day who logs into 5 different systems. And so it's like, well, what are all these systems doing? That's your back end. That's what you'll sometimes hear referred to as your tech stack. So what are you using? You're using email. You're using social media. What else, though? Are you building a website? Do you have a blog? Is there a CRM on the back end, a client relationship management piece that allows you to keep all of your contacts in one place and to track your interactions and engagements with those contacts? Where are you sending contracts from? If you have a storefront, I just built a website with a back end that has a storefront, a blog, a website, email marketing, and CRM, and it's literally all in one place. This person went from logging into 4 different places and really being ready to launch her laptop into the lake, I'm pretty sure is what she said, to having one login where everything is integrated. And it's like, let's get that stress, right? Everybody's big on nervous system regulation now. I see it everywhere. And I've had people tell me, like, their nervous system is so much more regulated as an entrepreneur, knowing their tech is handled in a way that they understand.
Yes. Okay. All right. And so I reached out to you like so randomly. Like, okay, I associate you with IT. and I had just had this website built for me that where I randomly just like picked someone on Upwork. And it was a huge stressor for me, and the communication and actually conveying what I want versus what was being given to me. And so I have a recruiting business, and the first design that she sent to me was a whole website set up for interior design. And so I was like, okay, so this is a problem, and a lot of time and effort was spent on this before, she even sent it to me, and it was all wrong. So work through all that because I'd already, paid the money, and then sent it to you. I was like, what do you think about this? And then that just we got on a call, and it just one, you did amazing things to what she did for one thing, because it was I thought it was a finished product. I was looking for a little bit of feedback, and then what you did was you worked wonders with the website itself. But then it was like, okay, what about this, and have you thought about this, and how are you going to use this to your advantage? How is this website supposed to support you? And then got a lot of education. And then at the end of it, I was like, okay, I realized I need all this. I want this. I understand this more. And I don't want to do this. Right? Like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Sounds great. And I don't think that I want to set this up like this. So take us through a little bit of businesses, like whatever the business is. If someone is saying, okay, I would need a website build, or I need a website fix,
Mhm.
what is, like, if you like go down the tiers of, okay, what should come next after that, or what do you see? What are the gaps that you see?
Yeah, so I like to start with the client journey, right? So when somebody lands on your website, is it clear to them what you want them to do next? So everybody's really big into I build funnels, I build funnels, I build funnels. Well, also you need to funnelize your website, right? I need to figure out if that's a word and if anybody has that. Because essentially that's what you're doing. Okay, so websites used to just be like digital brochures. Like you're wandering around a museum with no guide, and you just kind of browse at your leisure and figure out what you want to look at, right? And maybe you hit all of your mental checklist and maybe you don't. Having a funnel or funnelizing your website, making it very clear the next step you want your client or potential client to take is like going through that museum with a tour guide. You're going to see all of the things that are meant to be seen in this curated experience. Okay. And so when we do that, it's more than a flat website that's just spewing information or just showing information. It becomes a system on the back end that now has to take in that information in some way, shape, or form. Whether it is the step you want them to take is to grab your freebie, your lead magnet, whether the step is you want them to book a call with you, whether the step is you want them to sign up for your newsletter. You want to ask them for one single decision, one call to action on that landing page. And then on the back end, you have to have some way to handle that information. I've seen people where they're doing that on their site and the information's going nowhere. Or they don't know where it's going, right? So when you have it built with a system that's either integrated or it's all one piece, my preference is high level or go high level. They've rebranded. Your form, let's say you have a form that takes their information for a newsletter. You bring it into the back end, and this is where my favorite part comes in of the automation and the system in the back end. We're going to put that person automatically into your CRM. You're going to tag that person to identify them. I like to think of it, I don't know if you guys have in your area, trap, neuter, return for the feral cats outside.
Oh, gosh.
where they clip their ear, right?
Okay, yes.
Okay, so we are doing that to identify people that have come in and how they wanted to interact with your business. So we're going to tag them, or just like they tag wildlife and figure out where they've been. We tag them so we can make sense and we have good hygiene in our contact list, right? Okay. So we get in there and we figure out, what do you want this to accomplish? What do you want your client's journey to be? And then next thing is like, how does the software support that? And what I find sometimes is people will have a website hosted one place, their calendar is somewhere else. Let's say they wanted to book a discovery call, calendar somewhere else, with limited ability to engage with that client or contact after the initial engagement. You might be able to send reminders, but it's not necessarily built on a full-blown CRM with other features, right? So it's like, okay, in your dream client journey, we go through like, if they do sign up for a call, are they making a decision on that call? If they're not, how are you going to stay top of mind for that client? Because we're all busy, right? We
Right.
all have a million things going on. So if you're not showing up in their inbox, for example, as part of a follow-up nurture sequence that you automate, that you can't do through your standard calendar platform typically.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to stop you there.
Yeah.
So follow-up nurture sequence.
Yes.
Let's define that.
Okay. So after somebody gets on the call with you, right? If you're running a sales pipeline, for example, let's say you have somebody in your pipeline and they book a call and they're a hot lead, you're going to move them to the next step in your pipeline so you can visualize.
Okay.
Moving them that next step may be the trigger that fires off that nurture sequence that says, hey, loved chatting with you today. And then you tag them whether they made a purchase or not. And this is where you personalize. This is where I geek out. Okay.
Okay.
This is where I get super excited in the automation.
Okay. Because I know people kind of that feels impersonal, right? That word feels impersonal.
Yes. And everyone, and it only is impersonal if you're doing it wrong.
Okay. All right.
Right. That's how you can tell if you're doing it wrong.
Okay.
Because it'll feel like a bot. It'll feel like nobody knows you specifically. It's like when you buy something that someone's been hounding you to buy in your emails. Have you ever had that happen where it's like, buy, and then you finally buy and they're still sending you to buy the same thing?
Okay.
Because on the back end, they didn't tag you appropriately, or the email wasn't sent to only people that were tagged appropriately.
Okay.
Something happened there. Okay. So when you have a nurture sequence, you go, what's the next step I want them to take after this phone call? Have they taken it? Did I make the sale on the call? Great. They go into an onboarding automation. If they didn't make the sale on the call and you know you want to work with them, now you're going to put them into your nurture sequence and you're going to be in their inbox week after week, month after month, without you having to do a thing, because you have set up exactly what you think you need to say to them in your marketing for the next 3 months. Okay. And they are just dropped in that automation and it gets dripped out to them at that interval.
Okay. So can you set that up?
Absolutely. That's what I do.
Okay. So you are having the conversation with your client about the nurture sequence, understanding, and then you are piecing this together. Okay.
We do very sophisticated automation in the fact that we say, did they wind up, we check before every email goes out, right? You ever double check something before you do it to make sure you're doing it right? We do it all the time. Does my kid need that size shoe or this size shoe? Does my kid need this packed for lunch or that packed for lunch, right? And you make a decision. You have a condition, yes, no, and you make a different decision based on whether it's a yes or a no. We do the same thing in automation. We say, did this person buy from this nurture email? I'm going to tag them. That tag pulls them out of the rest of these emails. So it doesn't look like I don't know they bought from me.
Right. Okay.
Right? Or I don't know they signed the contract, or I don't know they did X, Y, Z. I'm also going to say, and this is where you can get into more complex automations, if they did this and this, like they have both tags, for example, for something, I'm going to send them this third email. Because what I've identified those tags mean about that person is they're likely to make a decision now.
Okay. And you're taking your client into, like, you're doing this through Go High Level, right? Yes. And you're taking your client through the journey of, basically it's your client journey, but then you're setting up their client journey, right? Like,
right.
At the same time. So, okay. So we started with someone reaching out about the website.
Yes.
And then we're going into CRM, getting things set up, personalized automation in Go High Level with a nurture sequence. And then go from there. Where can you take your client from there?
So from there, like, did they close the sale? You can send your documents, your contracts, your invoices, your recurring invoices.
All in Go High Level.
Yes.
Okay.
You integrate your payment processor. You can integrate, there's a number of them, more commonly Stripe, PayPal, Square, what have you. Integrate your payments so they're going and paying right there. I remember sending out random Stripe payment links when people wanted to pay me and I didn't have any automation set up yet. And I was like, how does this look? How does this look to people, right? Does this look like I'm a business? This look like I have it put together and I know what I'm doing? And it was fine when it was onesie twosie healing sessions for friends or family or, people I knew, but I knew I wanted to have a more professional presence. And so now I send out branded invoices, no matter what it is. If you're paying me, you're getting an invoice. And it's got my logo and it's got your business information and it's got a professional layout with a nice easy button where you just go and put your info in and it gets paid and then Stripe pays me.
Okay.
Super easy. Set it up once, leave it forever, right? So once they've decided that they've made the sale or they've accomplished that goal you wanted them, you're not done yet, right? So I typically work with coaches and consultants that have ongoing engagements with their clients. When you bring a new client on, what are you repeatedly doing for every one of your clients? If you're doing it more than twice, automate it. So if you have an onboarding, right? And this is the same thing in the corporate space when new hires come on, right? When you're recruiting somebody for a client, they have an onboarding process, right?
Yes.
How much of that onboarding can we automate?
Okay.
So now this person's been tagged as having purchased this package or being in your signature program, what have you. What happens next? Do you usually send them 5 emails rapid fire? Or do you have your VA do something? Or how does that all work? Well, then we go into that. Now we have an automation for onboarding. We're going to grant them access to our community, our private community on high level. We're going to grant them access to all of the courses that are part of their purchase on high level. We're going to send them a welcome email that touches on all the things that we've learned about them. And so they feel really, really good. You have that excitement window when people make a purchase from you that you want to capitalize on.
Right.
Very brief window where that's all that high energy and they're excited they did it. Right. Sometimes before that, buyer's remorse settles in. That's this false mindset thing, imposter syndrome, all of those things come in, right? But we want to capitalize on that excitement window and we want to get that information out to them. And so while they're excited, they can go in and check out the course rather than you waiting to send an email until you get back from your kid's soccer game to send them access to what they just bought.
Right. Okay. So kind of rapid fire me here with what let's do, actually just tell me what Go High Level does in your opinion. Like what is I was going to say like top 5, but what Go High Level, okay, let me phrase it this way. You just said that you could have, 5 or 6 different things that I have Calendly, I have several, and I have a contract like Panda Docs and DocuSign and things like that. Sure. And I'm visualizing what that possibly could look like to a customer when it's sent out in this sporadic weird way. So what does Go High Level do for an entrepreneur?
So it's a branded, cohesive experience. It really lends professionalism to a professional perspective, a professional look to the business without anyone knowing whether you're just starting out or not. So this is what I wish I had 6 years ago.
Okay.
When I started doing my healing business, the 2 most important things, because I have 9 to 5, mom, wifing, lifing is what I like to tell people. I've been mom, wifing, lifing, and I had too much to do. And I was still building a business on the side. And I needed people to do 2 things. I needed them to get on my calendar without me having to lift a finger. I didn't want to play calendar Tetris. I didn't want to go back and forth 18 times. And I needed them to pay me. And so Calendly was the obvious choice in that moment because for a nominal fee, right, I could set up, integrate my Stripe, integrate my Zoom so I didn't have to create the Zoom call myself and have them book on my calendar and know my availability. Mm-hmm. So this is my story of transitioning from those things.
Okay.
So then as I grew, I got MailChimp because I wanted somewhere to be able to send email campaigns. Then I got DocuSign. Then I got loyalty shops because I wanted to send SMS messages, right? Texting.
Oh, right.
And so I'm paying for all of these things. I was paying for web hosting. For every website I had, I was paying a separate fee for web hosting every year. So I moved to High Level and I just have to keep my Zoom and my Stripe and my domains registered, which by the way, you can also register in High Level. And I find it a lot more affordable than some of the other places I was registering domains.
Okay.
So I go into high level now. My calendars are all there. My billing is all there. Invoicing, getting payments, my documents, contracts, all there. I can send SMS texts from there. They just changed the rules for Texas though, so I have to look into that. Big fines for sending text messages you shouldn't send in Texas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Little tidbit there. Yeah, it was so random seeing that in the forums. And then got rid of web hosting and just host my websites right at high level.
Okay.
Got rid of MailChimp, send all the newsletters and email marketing out of high level. And so I had someone come to me yesterday. I had 2 calls yesterday. One was they've been in business for 9 years and they are sending, they have courses that they're hosting on one platform. They have a calendar they're hosting on another platform.
Like a Kajabi kind of.
Yeah, like a Kajabi or I can't remember. They were using like Member Space or something like that.
Okay.
And a community. So communities and courses. And if you look at the community in high level, it very much resembles the look and feel of school. So like everybody's into school right now. And that platform to me, I've worked both. I've looked at both. I wound up keeping everything in high level.
Okay. Is there anything ancillary? Is there any, so you're using Go High Level. Is there anything ancillary, as in, do you have any other things that you are paying for or using outside of Go High Level at this point?
I still pay for Zoom and I pay for the domains I've registered other places before I got high level. So
Okay.
I'm a domain collector. I own probably over 50 domains right now. Every time I think there's like, I'm going to start a business in this and like, or someone else wants to start a business in this and I'm helping them, I'm like, let's get the domain. Right.
Do you have a
So
social media scheduler, or is that in
I schedule all my social media through there. So
through
you
Go
can,
High Level?
yep.
Okay.
And you can schedule on TikTok, YouTube, Pinterest, Facebook, Instagram, Google My Business page, and you can schedule posts into your high level hosted community using the social planner in high level.
And then, so do you do that for clients
I
as well?
typically teach clients too. I'm more than happy to do it. So the way I do my own social media is, you can't schedule on your personal profile unless you're in professional mode and you're on your app. So I'll schedule my posts out on my personal profile. And then I'll get at a computer when I'm doing batching day, as I like to call it. And I will multi-monitor, take all of my social media posts from my personal profile and repurpose them. And one time, I only have to schedule it one time, like for all 3. So I create a new post in the social planner. I tag my Instagram, my LinkedIn, and my Facebook business page. And I recreate that content or repurpose that content for posts there. And then I schedule out about a month and High Level just posts it for me.
Okay. So
You can
basically,
actually follow-up comment as well, I think, depending on the platform. So I don't know if people know that you can do that when you're doing your scheduled post on your Facebook app on your personal profile. You can automate follow-up comments, and so it'll post with comments already. You can pre-schedule your comments.
Like your comments coming from you or your business?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So basically, you're saying the only thing, if you had registered your domains through Go High Level, that would not be a thing. So it would really just be Zoom, but your Zoom is actually incorporated in Go High Level as well, right?
It is.
Like
You still just have to pay for it as a separate
right.
fee.
Okay. So that's like your only.
You pay to send emails just like you would on any platform. It's like so many cents per 1,000. It's very specific to the business. I will say that. If you need something else, like you're using QuickBooks and you need to integrate with QuickBooks, there's probably something in the app marketplace that'll do that you may have to pay a little extra for. The features I see in high level are things that when I've built WordPress before for other people, that they were like nickel and diming to use the add-ins to do XYZ that you can do in high level.
Okay. Okay. So I have a podcast. Well, obviously, we're on it.
Is that where we are?
And I was sending you
here.
I was sending you how other people were advertising their podcast through email. So tell me, and I sent you something that someone randomly had like reached out to me because once you start declaring that you have started a business, everybody wants you to pay them to like do all the things.
Right.
So randomly was like, okay, this person is saying that I don't, what did he say? Like it was like SEO for the podcast or the YouTube
Yeah.
viewship. So tell me a little bit about what you could do for a podcast like this, or for someone who's using podcasts for their marketing, as far as getting it in front of people and knowing the views and targeting the correct audience and all of that. How can you
So specific to podcasting, there's a couple things you can do with high level. Obviously some of the the integration will help, like being able to post to YouTube using the planner. And then using the automations and timing to schedule emails to go out to let your audience know that it's been posted. Or
Go High Level will schedule the podcast on YouTube,
on YouTube.
and then you use it for taking that YouTube link or posting that to the other social media platforms, and that happens through Go High Level
Yes.
as well.
The
Okay.
social planner. You can post to all of them at one time. You can change the content of post per platform, but still using like the same video resource.
Okay. Okay. So this is what I would encourage anyone to do, is to do, because I did this not too long ago, because so this is what I see happening
Mhm.
in business startups or whatever, from several different angles of how I've worked with people. And what tends to happen, especially if there's like there's a good growing season, but it starts all like you were here and everything was manageable, and then boom, you're over here. And what people, including myself and what I've seen other people do, just start throwing things into the mix to get some relief. And I see this in recruiting, where they're like, okay, we got another big order. Let me put in some more overhead and have this inflated staff that then next month we actually don't need.
Mhm.
And then also with systems as well. It's like Google, oh, okay, let me put, and then all of a sudden you don't even know what you've done. You've just put band-aids on things, right? So with my business, I just was like, okay, I need this. All right, this is getting too cumbersome. Let me get this system, or just start throwing these things. And then all of a sudden you look at your business expenses and you're like, oh my goodness. Okay. So, and then Christine was telling me, if you could probably put all of this in the Go High Level, and it's this amount a month. And then what are you, as far as if you come alongside someone in that, what do you consider that?
So I have my own high level agency. So I usually host people inside of my platform unless they have a specific use case where they want to just be in their own high level agency type account.
Okay.
That's typically if they have multiple businesses or if they're planning to scale their own agency. I have people who come to me that figure out how to use high level in a specific niche industry, and they've done so well with it. Like that wasn't their primary business, but they want to grow an agency now and sell that as another stream of income because they figured out how to do it perfectly for XYZ, right? So for me, what I do is I come in and it's usually like a setup project. I like to call it the success stack. We get everything lined up in your high level. We audit what you're already using, first of all. So we say,
Right.
okay, give me the list of subscriptions you have. What can we do in high level? And what are you actually not using and we can get rid of anyways? Doesn't even need a home in high level. That's the full start build, right? So we do automations, we do website, we do funnels if you need them, calendaring, storefront, getting social media connected, getting payments integrated, and then making sure that's up and running. And then I charge a platform fee per month and then a support fee on top of that if somebody wants continued ongoing support. And then they self-pay and fund the wallet that covers their email transactions, their text messages, anything that happens in there that's transactional like that.
Okay. And you could, and I don't know if if you already have done this, but you could probably train virtual assistants on this as
Yes.
well.
Yeah.
Right.
So there's there's sometimes there's a lot of Loom videos going back and forth because it's just easy to like, hey, here, throw this in your knowledge base. Um, you know, there are some VAs that are already certified. I have a couple that I know that are really good and high level, that I would recommend. But if you already have somebody on your teams, I've worked with people's marketing teams to show them how social planner works, or they've had them in on their consult because they know they're not the business owner wants to know, but they already have this VA or tech or whatever, or a VA or marketing assistant, and they want them to be the ones that are like hands in it all the time. So they're the
Okay.
ones that are looking at and you can have you have permissions in there that you can change. So if you don't want your VA to see this part of your
Ah,
business, they don't have to see that part of your business. They can just come in and be do your social planner, for example. Let's say you have a social media person. They go in and they put it all in there, schedule it all out, and then they get out.
okay. All right. No, yeah, this so like I said, this is educating me as well. And because people will come to me or even on this podcast and say certain things and I'm like, "Oh, you need Christine." But I don't exactly know how to tell you why. so
And
so
that's
that I
like,
mean it's helpful for me too. And like I said, you it's there's just certain when someone starts on this journey of doing their own business, there are certain things that they do know a whole lot about, like if they've come from a corporate environment, right? And
yeah,
then there's the other things that corporate environment, the different departments were taken care of, right?
right,
And so
right.
you just I mean, Working Genius is all about being in your strength and your joy and your energy. And overall, what we want to do is the thing that we started the business for, right? We don't want to be doing
Yeah.
all these other things. So, is there anything else that so as far as go high level, like we've encompassed like what you do there, is there any other offerings that you have for the entrepreneur?
So rather than just like, okay, let's move you and keep you in high level or build you in high level, um, there are a lot of things that people come to me for, small projects. Things hey, my DNS isn't working. Can you fix it and figure out why? Um,
Okay,
things that, yeah,
DNS.
DNS. DNS. Here's what DNS does in a nutshell. Are you ready?
Yes.
So let's say I want to go find the coffee shop down the street. It's Joe's Coffee Shop. I know it is Joe's Coffee Shop, but I can't put Joe's Coffee Shop in as the address. I need to know that Joe's Coffee Shop goes to 123 Main Street.
Okay.
Okay. I need to know that your domain, that google.com, goes to an IP address. The IP address is the server that your site lives on, so that the rest of the internet knows traffic for Google goes to this IP address.
Okay.
So when you have all of your email traffic needs to know mail traffic, it checks those records, those DNS records, to know where to send your email. Okay. Changing those or making mistakes in those can cause a lot of problems. So I always recommend make a copy of everything that's in there before you touch anything, so you can
Okay.
put it back the way you found it, if you have to. But I mean, it's amazing. I had a boss once who told everybody at our company, this was like 15 years ago, if it plugs in, call Christine.
Okay.
And so I would get people calling me for their adding machines, and I'm like, it's a paper roll. Like, I don't know. There's no coding and there's no programming I can do. I can't get it on the internet. Like, it's not going to happen,
Right.
right? So I'm always surprised by the things people come to me for. But this is really important to note: is like, I am a tech person that's also a designer, right?
Okay.
I didn't start my career as just one or the other. It's been both basically my entire career, right? And so there are things that fall on one side or the other that if somebody has only strictly been in one or the other, they may not know how to fix. And so I've had other web designers that I'm like, hey, if you need a tech person in your back pocket, like your business is web design, but you're nervous about DNS, or your business is web design and you don't know automation, let's collaborate,
Okay.
right? let's build that relationship, and our skills complement each other. So sometimes it's like end user entrepreneur that has a tech question, right?
Okay.
Or it's another service provider for entrepreneurs that needs that complementary skill set.
Okay. Okay.
That's kind of the other things people come to me for. Fixing, I've built on WordPress, I've built in Wix, I've built in Squarespace. Do I love all of them? For certain things, they're good. You know, putting stuff on Stan Store, all of that kind of thing. But if there's something that needs to stay where it is and just needs fixing, absolutely, we can look at how to do that. If it's better off being moved, I'm not going to be shy about telling somebody that that's the case.
Okay. All right. SEO.
Yes.
So
Super important.
yeah, and no, I mean negative knowledge on SEO.
It's,
I don't even think I know what it. I know ultimately what it is, but
yeah.
what does it even stand for? I'm not even
Search
totally.
engine optimization.
Okay.
Okay. So, and this used to be I used to be able to get people to the top of their chosen keyword, the first page of their chosen keyword, like the top 10, much quicker and easier 15 years ago. The landscape
Okay.
has changed,
Okay.
right? What I see happen, as much as people will say one way or the other, it's really a lot of times a pay to play game because you want to show up in the ads and in the sponsored results across the board, whether it's Google, whether it's Meta, all of that, right? They want you to run ads, particularly if you have a business page, right? Because you're more likely to do it. You're going to need it as a business, right? That's why they like to keep that stuff separated. But to have the best experience on your website, there are certain things that need to be done in a certain way. So in high level specifically, for example, when you go to publish a site, it gives you a space to update your search engine optimization data. And that includes having titles on all of your pages, having descriptions that don't exceed the optimal character length, using the keyword tags correctly, making sure everything is accessible. You want they're called alt tags on your images, for example, so that if somebody goes to your site and their vision is impaired, that alt tag will read to them a valid description of that image, for example.
Okay.
So accessibility of the site so that it can be universally browsed as much as possible. Content, having good content, having authority. So if you have a domain that's 20 years old that's been consistently used and built authority, it notices those things. It pays attention to those things. Let's see what else. Using things like, when you look at a website, there's code behind that website. Certain types of headlines used in a certain way. Having authors on all of your pages. That's one of the tags in there for SEO. Having backlinks. Making sure your sitemap is correct. So that your sitemap is basically just like a stripped down version of all of the navigation on your site. That's what search engines crawl to get the layout of your site. Having content that people want to engage with or share. So having a blog that has consistent, good content. All of those things contribute to being successful with your search engine optimization on page.
Okay. So for your business or for my business, how do you know where you stand and where I stand currently?
There are a couple of really good tools that can help because it's not just all one thing or the other, right? So there's a couple of tools I'll use when I'm auditing people's sites, like keyword tracking tools. There's SEMrush, SEMrush. There's GTmetrix for speed and stuff. There's Google Page Speed Insights that will offer you things like, hey, your images load slow. People are going to bounce before they even get through your website. So there's a number of tools out there that you can pop your domain in, have it browse your website, and it will actually give you tips and tricks, things that you need to change. And then you need to hire somebody who has the knowledge to go in and actually change those things in your website. So when I build a site or when I come in and see a site, I'm doing search engine optimization as part of the package because that's just part of good design.
Okay. 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 I'm telling you this. you might as well be describing brain surgery to me or rocket science. That's how.
I don't know.
That's what. I'm digesting it, but it's like I am like I'm having to process it. Like okay. And again, I don't know if people are if this is as mind blowing or something that just does not register like it does for me.
Yeah, you know what I need to do? I need to put what I'm saying into chat and be like, how would you say this? Give me an analogy that works in the real world, right? That's, like, what is
right,
an
like
analogy?
right. Okay.
But yeah.
All right. So then, for the podcast, as far as what I see, because I see views, right? But describe SEO or how that works for I don't know. I don't even know if that applies to Spotify. Does it for like the audio?
That's a good question. I don't know enough about the platform. I'd have to do some research to know
Let's
about
just focus
Spotify.
on YouTube.
So if you're in YouTube, you want to use a tool, and I'm trying to think of the one that I sent you the name of, and it's slipping my mind right now. There's same thing, like, so when I was mentioning the tools that I run people's websites through, and they give you ideas on what needs to change, keywords, what competition, whatever. There's tools like that specific to things like YouTube, and they often offer a free tier or a free trial, and you can take a look and see what they recommend and incorporate that into how you're posting on YouTube. So you really want to make sure that your titles hook and that you have keywords in the title, and you want to front load your description with, because it shows you like partial description first, and there's like a show more when you're looking at a description on a YouTube video.
Okay.
You want to make sure that you're front loading your keywords in there, or front loading what you want people to find and search for, or search and find.
In the description?
Yeah. So the first couple lines of the description, right? We're going to get like a crash course right now.
Okay.
So you want your title to have, what would someone search for, right? So instead of saying, this is episode 14 and I talked to Christine about tech, right? This is episode, like, don't even say what episode, just be like, how do you automate your back end as an entrepreneur? How do I step away from hand delivering every email in my business? Okay, so and I think you can go to, I think it was, there's tools online that will allow you to see what people are searching, and then you can tailor what you're saying to what your audience is already, how they're already saying it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So when I say automation to you, what does that translate to in your brain as an entrepreneur?
What is automation to me?
Yeah, like when I explain the details of it, how emails go out without you having to lift a finger. There's a
okay, like what I would be searching for if I was trying to find that information.
Exactly. That's what you want to put into your content in general, but your YouTube videos, right? The title should be how to get clients without ads, and then marketing strategies with so and so. How to XYZ, and then, joy infused strength with Julie.
Right. Okay.
Right.
So I knew this was happening. I didn't know why. So I was having a hard time finding my own podcast by searching. And I was like, I don't know. And I was like, well, it's saturated, whatever, was telling me myself all these things of why I couldn't find it. So I've received a random email from a random listener that I didn't know, who was like, I've been listening to your podcast and finding it through social media or whatever. But I also have discovered that it's hard to search it out. And what he discovered is the channel itself, in both Spotify and YouTube, one letter was left out of pursuing. And I was like, oh my gosh. I don't think I would have ever It was just the
Wow.
misspelling of the channel, which not everybody wasn't what everybody else was seeing, but it was messing up the search, right? Everybody else was seeing the logo and the actual name of the website, and I was just like, "Oh my gosh, you have like I would have never I don't think I would have ever discovered that myself." And it was just like you one, you're a stranger listening, you're not somebody I know, and that's good. And
Pretty
you helped me a
amazing.
lot. And
Yeah.
so I was like, "Oh my goodness." And he was right. And like as soon as I fixed that, like the next hour, it was completely searchable.
Yeah.
So I that helps me compute even like what you're saying
Okay.
with the description of what you why you would do that. So um and can you see based on and I tried to look up the thing that you'd sent me to. I
Yeah.
don't remember the name of it, but once you do that, once that is reconstructed or whatever, the description's done differently, can you look to see the uptick or the change in the aside from the views? Can you track someone is finding this because of this description? Or
Um,
see the uptick? Can you see the
you would see it in the analytics on the video because you would have like the before and after, right?
okay.
You would have a timeline. So you could see it there. There's a couple other things I would do to videos. I would make sure you have really good thumbnails. So I can't tell you how many times my kid wants to watch YouTube Kids and the thumbnail comes up and I'm like, we're not watching that. Even if it would have been a good video, right? I go by what the thumbnail looks like.
Oh my gosh, I don't even use thumbnails.
Yeah. So like have a custom, or if you look at someone I think that does a
Why
really,
is
really
that? Why what
there's
is the thumbnail telling you as far as your kids are concerned?
um if it's like there was one that was like a Bluey video and it was
Uh-huh.
like things you missed in Bluey. And we love to catch like the errors or the Easter eggs
Oh,
and stuff.
okay.
And the thumbnail had like Tilly, the mom, had her eyes instead of having white around them, had red. And I'm like, I think this is going to turn into something that's kind of scary. I'm not going to watch this one with her.
Oh.
Yeah. Or something that'll really entice her. And it'll be like, even if it's clickbaity, right? You know, everybody's into like clickbait. There's thumbnails on the videos where they get me to click. And I'm like, I know I'm not going to want it. I know this is not going to be what I think it's going to be, but they did a good job with this thumbnail. I'm going to watch it.
Okay.
um, Kind of like that email you sent me with the uh, advertisement for that John's thing.
The other podcast?
Yeah, that thumbnail, it looks kind of engaging. So
Okay.
it's like they're people looking at each other talking. If you go through YouTube, you'll see there's some thumbnails that'll make you want to watch and that won't. A for Adley, one of those kids channels,
Mhm.
they do a really good job with their thumbnails.
Okay.
So that's something that like you could translate to business. Doing it well, right? Success leaves clues. If it's working, right? The other thing is like timestamps, having a call to action even in your YouTube. So like, hey, if you want to learn more about this, or if you want to hire with joy, right?
Okay.
Having a
Okay.
call to action in your description in your video, having timestamps on your videos, having a good
Right.
thumbnail, um, keywords, all of those kind of things. You know, if it's something that you would search for yourself, right? Think about what your audience is searching for. As an entrepreneur,
Yeah,
there
no,
are
and
things that
that's
I
me.
invest in and there are things that I don't invest in because I figure I either have to spend time or I have to spend money,
Yes.
right? And if it's okay to spend the time and I think I'll figure it out in a reasonable amount of time, I'm going to spend the time first. And I think
Right.
that's where a lot of people stumble and get frustrated. Like you were saying, they accumulate tools. They start hoarding all the tools because they want something to work, or like they're throwing stuff at the wall and see what sticks. And if I could just catch them on that middle part, right? Like, hey, you're in this growth phase. You know the systems aren't working. You're duct taping it together in the back end and it's driving you nuts. But before you take this leap and buy 5 other tools, let's have a conversation and figure out what you need. And maybe we can move you into something that's streamlined and that's going to be much, much easier on your nervous system and your energy, and much better for the business.
Yes. And yeah, I mean, so because and I mean, it's the same thing with recruiting when a business gets to that point. One, I can, based on my experience and other people's experiences, do we even need do we need this seat? Right? Like that can even be evaluated based on people, again, just putting
Yeah.
people in there. Who, okay, determining the seat needs to happen. Okay, now do you want to be bogged down with the process yourself? And do you want to hire like everyone else is hiring? Or do you want to know that this person is going to have joy and energy and stay for a long time and be happy and content in what, not even happy and content, elated that they get to do the thing. So all of this, all the offerings are exactly like what part of the business is not where your heart and soul is. What is taking that time away from you, and what can you budget for those things as you're growing, and
Right.
being practical and a good steward of what you have already been given through your business at the
Right.
same time. So, and again, for what you offer, I don't even know what I don't know. I needed to know what I didn't know to know, hey, I need this and I don't want to do it. So I'm
Right.
not even that I don't want to do it. For me to learn it, to educate myself and get it done, like that is a lot of time away from recruiting, which is,
Right.
what I want to be doing. So,
Yeah. I told
uh,
you, I'm like, tech is not your business unless tech is your business.
right.
It's not. You don't even need to, like, you have to have your stamp of approval on things and make sure it's your voice and your marketing coming through. But the technicality side of it, the part that lights me up, and this is why we're all unique, we're all different. I want to do stuff that's fun for me. Building
Right.
the automation is fun for me. You know what I mean? And I think there's often this misconception too that people don't need systems until they've grown. So
Right.
what if you started in high level, for example? And I think about what if I had started in high level? I was spending a lot of money on website hosting. I was spending, you know what I mean? If I had started in high level, and if someone starts there, no matter how small they are, even if they're just using it for their calendaring and sending a couple emails, it's a
Mhm.
platform that will grow with them. So when they get that period, like we were talking about, of now I need stuff for these things, they're going to have a smoother path,
Yes.
right? For a low cost barrier to entry, right? There's not, I've worked in other systems. I've done some stuff in Salesforce. I've done some stuff in HubSpot. Um, they all have their specific business use case, right?
Mhm.
Those are typically not the same people I'm working with to build in high level that are entrepreneurs that maybe have a small team, right? Because you still want, I've built a high level where people have a lead gen person and a salesperson,
Right.
and they need the CRM to see that history of activity, right? But they don't need to spin
Mhm.
up a custom server with Sage Act used to be the big one when I was working with inside sales teams. Sage Act has their own CRM, right? You had to have an on-prem server. You had to have your own server to do it back in the day, or that was the best way to do it back in the day. And that's perfect for that use case. What we're looking at is the person who is starting or is mid-level entrepreneur realizing, okay, something's got to change. Or if I knew and I could invest in this low barrier to entry monthly
Mhm.
fee for the platform, could I start my business off on the right foot right now?
Yeah. Yes. And I mean, I was thinking of a particular client that had I am thinking about my own client journey now and how it could have been a little bit more seamless and like you said, the professional look of
Mhm.
the communication. So it has opened my eyes considerably. So tell me a little bit about your story and like your why and where you came from and where you're going.
So, okay, that's really good question. So, I started uh, working with computers 3 years old, sitting on my grandfather and father's lap, like it's family. I'm third generation at it. My grandfather did it. My father does it. My father and I do projects together, which is really cool.
Okay.
But my purpose with the entrepreneur spin. So I started out my entrepreneurial journey as a Silva meditation teacher, a pranic healer, a tapping practitioner. And I realized that a lot of entrepreneurs, especially in those niches, don't want to or are intimidated or worried or scared of tech or don't know how to use it to grow their business. And people would come to me. They would just come to me anyways and like, hey, we like your website. Who built it? And I'm like, I did. And they were like, can you build ours? Right. And I realized the relief on someone's face, even as like when in corporate IT or in a 9 to 5, I show up to serve. And this
Okay.
happens to be the thing that I really know how to serve in well. Um, and as somebody who has, people come to me when they're feeling really disempowered. They're feeling really worried about something. And I offer them, that comfort, right? That empathy and understanding. And
Mhm.
we get that part resolved. And then we can take a dive into the tech part, right? Sometimes it's just delivering bad news about tech. Hey, this product won't do what they told you it would do, right?
Right.
And being able to deliver that softly,
Right.
building rapport, explaining it in ways people understand. So my journey has come from corporate IT into seeing entrepreneurs that were getting sold a bill of goods by other providers. And that's
Mhm.
something that really bothers me. Um, I'll post PSAs about like, hey, if you don't know how to do this, don't say you do. Either go learn it or come find somebody that can help you. And people were getting taken advantage of far too often, especially entrepreneurs that they know their thing really, really well. They may be like the best in their industry at
Right.
what they do, but they don't do this or they don't know what they don't know.
Right.
So I want to educate them. A lot of times I get on calls with people and they make the decision to hire me just by the fact that I can answer their questions in a way they understand. I'm
Yes.
not coming in here with a sales pitch. I'm coming in here with your best interest at heart and knowing that even if you aren't going to build on high level, I can help you find the tech you need. So
Right.
I had a call with a salon owner the other day, and they have a really good CRM that's super specific to salons that does certain things that's not high level, right? But they were missing two key components. And so on that call, we found out that one component is on the ideas board for the software they're already using. So it's going to be implemented soon. And I helped them find a third party tool that does the second part that actually integrates with the product they're already using. So my goal is to find the right solution and the right fit and help them feel really, really good and confident about it. And so I know there are things in my life that I don't understand HVAC, electricity, plumbing,
Right.
right? I want somebody to come in and make me feel really safe about it. I want to know that I can put myself, my husband, my kid to bed at night in a safe home
Mhm.
because a professional came out and took care of the part that I know I'm not an expert at.
Right.
And I try to give that same thing to people with tech in their business. And I've had people who call me and they're having a rough day. Hey, my server's down, my website's down, my email's not working, right? And we don't know the impact of that on the rest of their life. If they can't print that thing, are they worried about getting
Right.
paid? If they're worried about getting paid, are they going to go home and yell at their kid? If they yell at their kid, are they going to fight with their wife? Right? So I show up in the capacity I know how to serve and say, let me at least take this part off your plate. Let me at least take the stress out of this part. I'm going to get emotional talking about this because tech is so not emotional, right? From the standpoint of how you build it. But when you're talking about the people using it, I'm passionate about them. And that's why I use the tech to do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's emotional for me because it is frustrating. And yes, I could say if I'm putting time, effort, and energy into something that I'm not even good at, then yes, there is an overflow onto those people that
Yeah.
you just said. So yeah, it is providing a great relief. And yes, and I mean, I feel like a lot of the solution or the way that we're combating the loss of jobs right now or like the AI is entrepreneurship is becoming like a really great solution. And if we can figure out the best ways, the best systems that to make that happen and work together to make it work and to get our names out there and to work with something more personalized, right?
Mhm.
It is, yeah. So I know that you've educated me and provided a huge relief as well, and even knowing like I do not, I will not go out and put together a chart of the CRMs out there and compare and contrast. Like that is not going
That
to
doesn't sound
happen.
like a good time to you?
So you you have the solution, then yes, let's go with that and the knowledge, because I'm not even going to make the right choice. I mean, honestly, it's not,
Yeah.
it won't happen. So, is there anything about you or your business, anything else that we haven't discussed that you want?
So what I plan to offer is monthly workshops. So the first one was chaos to clarity, mapping the client journey, because you want to map the client journey offline before you ever touch the technology. I find that works better. We have to understand, people come to me and they're like, I want this idea for a funnel. And I'm like, okay, great. Why?
Okay.
And then it's crickets. And it's like, okay, funnels sound good because it's a word you throw around, but there's a difference between you build the software funnel, which is the stream of pages and steps, and you have a marketing funnel, which is how do you actually get people to that software funnel? I always say don't blame the funnel for the traffic you didn't bring.
Okay.
Software is not going to fix everything, right?
Okay.
We have to have a plan. So my goal is to like bring further education to, you know, to sell them what they want, a website, give them what they need, a back end that actually does what the business needs. So there's going to be workshops and like some hands-on, let's do this together in this workshop. But yeah, that's
Okay.
the
Okay.
education piece.
So, what is the best way to get in touch with you for any of these questions or discovering more about Go High Level? What is the way to communicate with you?
So my Facebook page is Your Tech Sage. Emailing at hello@yourtechsage.net. You can go to yourtechsage.net/book a consult.
All right.
And even if it's just questions, I mean, I get to learn, kind of like you said about this conversation where you're learning while we're talking, right? I like to learn. People will bring stuff to me I haven't seen before, and I'm going to dig in, figure it out,
Okay.
you know?
All right. All right. Awesome. Okay. Thanks for hanging out and taking me down all the roads that I have not been able to understand, and shedding light on that, and what you can do for those of us who are glad to be educated and not want to go any further than that. So I know that you have a lot to offer. I want others to know that, and again, for me, I just reaching out with the one thing, then I was like, okay, now there's all these things under there, and just like you said, even asking the question why, or what are you ultimately trying to accomplish, and then building from there. So thank you so much for the
Thank you.
conversation.